This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
You're listening to Catch Up, an official news production of Public House Media.
Today is June 17th, 2020, and it's time to catch up on the news that you need to know.
Today we are helping you catch up on politics, sports, and media news. And as always, we will end on a positive note with your daily dose of good news.
All of this and more coming up. I'm Kylie Thompson.
And I'm Madeline Cum. Welcome to Catch Up. Let's begin with our top news story of the day. Yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order on police reform and said, I quote, "Chokeholds will be banned except if an officer's life is at risk." This comes weeks after the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, where an officer kneeled on his neck, leading to his death. The public has demanded for changes in policing nationwide, whether it's entire departments resigning, new law signed, or a whole nationwide reform. Trump declared that the Department of Justice would provide grants to police departments around the nation seeking de-escalation training or police officers seeking mental health aid and trauma therapy. The order would also help departments secure less fatal weapons that can help reduce the amount of fatalities with police and demand that departments share information on officers who are accused of abusing power, I quote, so that officers with credible issues do not simply jump from one police department to the next. This is a developing story. Please follow at Time for Ketchup on Twitter for the latest. Moving on into the world of SpaceX. NASA astronauts Chris Cassidy and Robert Behnken are scheduled to go outside the International Space Station on Friday, June 26th and Wednesday, July 1st for spacewalks to begin the replacement of batteries for one of the power channels on the orbiting laboratory. NASA television will be broadcasting this event live, and a briefing will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, June 24th at Johnson Space Center in Houston. Coverage of the spacewalks will begin at 6 a.m. on the day of each spacewalk, each lasting 7 hours, so spacewalks beginning around 7:35 a.m. This will be a virtual event with no media present, of course, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Multimedia journalists and reporters will actually have to participate by phone. But hey, if you're watching at home, feel free to chime in with the hashtag #AskNASA on social media. Cassidy, the commander of Expedition 63, and Behnken, who actually joined the crew May 31st after arriving aboard SpaceX Crew Dragon with NASA astronaut Douglas Hurley on NASA's SpaceX Demo 2 test flight, will depart the Quest airlock for both spacewalks. The briefing will also include an update about the Crew Dragon's mission to the orbital outpost. Here on Catch Up, I have our space correspondent, Meg Cum, here to talk to us a little bit more about SpaceX and what this means. Thanks for coming, Meg.
Thank you.
Meg, start out by telling us why in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic and social change issues, why the SpaceX mission is still relevant and important.
Space travel brings us together. It reflects the best of humanity. It gives people hope. We're explorers, and we're truly at our best when we're discovering new things and, reaching for the stars.
Exactly. And when we're talking about discovery and hope, I think we think a lot about our future and our children. So NASA's plan with the hashtag #AskNASA is actually to get students involved with space exploration, especially in the STEM fields. They want to enhance student learning, keep them interested in mathematics, engineering, basically those STEM careers. So tell me why it's important that we keep this dream alive, space exploration for future generations to come.
Space is the future. It's what's next. We learn more about our planet and how it changes and works by operating in space. If we want to keep advancing technologically and creating a better life for those of us in the future, we need to encourage kids to study STEM now.
And lastly, Meg, tell me, if you plan on participating with the hashtag #AskNASA, what would you ask?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm really excited about us going to Mars. So normally probably a question about that next step. But because of the upcoming spacewalks, I'd be interested to hear from Bob Behnken and Chris Cassidy about their most interesting spacewalks. The upcoming walks for them will be number 7 and 8. So they've done several. And I'd like to kind of hear about the differences between each one.
Absolutely. Well, we will keep you up to date with the latest on Ketchup social media. Just make sure to use the hashtag Pass the Ketchup. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter and Instagram for the latest news regarding SpaceX. Meg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
A United States Air Force F-15 fighter jet pilot died Monday, June 15th, after the aircraft crashed at 9:40 a.m. in the North Sea off of England. According to CNN, the pilot of the fighter jet was Lieutenant Kenneth Allen, Assistant Chief of Weapons and Tactics for the 493rd Fighter Squadron. Allen had been with the 48th Fighter Wing since February of this year. Colonel Will Marshall, 48th Fighter Wing Commander, released a statement on Monday saying, "We are deeply saddened by the loss of Lieutenant Allen and mourn with his family and his fellow Reapers in the 493rd Fighter Squadron. The tremendous outpouring of love and support from our communities has been a ray of light in this time of darkness." In a statement released by the 48th Fighter Wing, they stated that the aircraft was on a routine training mission with one pilot on board. The statement also released that the jet was based at Royal Air Force Lakenheath, a U.S. Air Force-operated base in Suffolk, England. That same base is home to the U.S. Air Force's Europe-based F-15 fighter wing as well. All of us at Ketchup send our condolences to Lieutenant Allen's family and loved ones at this time. But now to switch gears, let's head to our good news story of the day. For the first time ever, Black authors are topping the charts in the UK. Authors Bernadine Evaristo and Rini Edo-Lodge have become the first Black British women to top the UK's fiction and nonfiction paperback charts, according to the Positive News Society. Evaristo's award-winning novel entitled Girl, Woman, Other went to number 1 in the paperback fiction chart this week. Edo-Lodge topped the paperback nonfiction chart with her 2017 book, Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. Edo-Lodge spoke on this accomplishment, saying that it was a horrible indictment of the publishing industry that it had taken so long for Black British authors to claim the number 1 spot. I'm hoping to see some more positive changes in the world myself, and I'm so thankful the world is starting to head in a right direction.
Thanks for catching up on today's news with us. I'm Madeline Cum.
And I'm Kylie Thompson. If you liked what you heard today, make sure to tune in tomorrow. New episodes air Monday through Friday and come out at 5 a.m. Central Time.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
And for even more content, follow Ketchup Digital on social media. Just search for @TimeForKetchup.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the stories we covered today. Just use the hashtag #PassTheKetchup on social media.
Ketchup is an official production of Public House Media.